Hello everyone, back tuning into today's third video. Going to have a look at the weather for next week, 10 days for today's third video. And that's going to take us to around the 9th of June, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run to around a couple of weeks. So I'll have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that's going to take us pretty much to the end of June. So been a busy day at Gaz Weathers today. We started off with the third and final season model roundup for the summer of 2020, getting 12 long range models together, see what they're all showing for the summer. That video is going to be placed on the summer updates page at gazweathers.com. This evening there'll be a written summary that goes with that as well. And that, of course, ahead of the summer forecast being released tomorrow. We'll be releasing our summer forecast 10 AM tomorrow morning. Also, weekend forecast, as ever, on a Saturday with your weekend look ahead. So the videos are all on YouTube and at websites, so check them out and see how things have been going with videos today. I'll talk you through everything else that's coming up tomorrow at the end of this video. It's going to be a very, very busy day tomorrow. Just to say that if you want to become a Gaz Weathers YouTube channel member and you are a member of YouTube Premium, you can get Gaz Weathers YouTube channel membership for free until tomorrow. This offer ends on the 31st of May. YouTube have asked me to pass this on. So if you would like to become a Gaz Weathers channel member, all you need to do is click the join button. That'll take you through to another page where you can see the benefits you get for becoming a Gaz Weathers channel member, and you can sign up. And you'll get that for free if you are already signed up to YouTube Premium. So that offer is for the UK and for just till the end of this month, so just until tomorrow that you've got that offer for. Big thank you to all of our channel members as ever. Also for the patrons, I put a post on the Patreon page and suspended billing for June. So there's no problem, just to give everybody the chance, if they want, to go from being a patron to being a Gaz Weathers channel member. It's the same idea, really, patron channel membership, but the thing with YouTube channel membership is that you do get benefits for being able to become a channel member. So there's going to be a once a month live stream, advanced access of the NAO forecast into 2021, badges, etc, etc. And these are things I can't really provide on Patreon. So I've suspended billing for June on Patreon. If anybody wants to change over from Patreon to YouTube channel membership, then they can do so, and that's absolutely great. For the people who want to remain as patrons, that's no problem whatsoever. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll resume billing in July. But I just wanted to give everybody a heads up and an opportunity, if they want, to change from Patreon to YouTube channel membership. You certainly don't have to, and you know, the option is yours to do whatever works best for you. But I wanted to give everybody that chance to be able to become a channel member and change from Patreon, because you might want to do both. You might want to be a patron and a patron and a channel member, or however it works best for you. But at least everybody now has the opportunity to be able to do that. So billing suspended for June on Patreon. It'll resume in July. Right, let's get on with the video then, and we're going to start off with the situation in the tropical Atlantic. So look at this. We have another disturbance area. We are still short of the official beginning of the 2020 tropical storm season. We've had 2 tropical storms so far. We have a disturbance area here in the middle of the tropical Atlantic. Let's see what National Hurricane Center are saying about this. It's disturbance 1, and it's got a 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. They're saying shower activity has changed little overnight in association with a broad area of low pressure located around 500 miles east-southeast of Bermuda. Some development of this system is still possible through tonight, and it could become a short-lived subtropical depression while it moves northwestward over the central Atlantic. After that time, further development is not anticipated due to unfavourable environmental conditions. And there's going to be an update later on today, I think at 3 PM. Or earlier if necessary. It's got a 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, 48 hours, and a 60% chance in the next 5 days as well. So this may or may not become a subtropical depression, but again, it's just indicative of the fact that the tropics are quite active very, very early in this season. Remember, it is only the 30th of May. The actual beginning of this season isn't until tomorrow, the 1st of June, but things seem to be pretty active already. So again, we're anticipating an active tropical storm and hurricane season. Whether it's just above average or whether it's hyperactive remains to be seen, but we're certainly anticipating quite a big season. And these early developments, albeit we haven't had a hurricane yet, but these early developments are probably telling us that it's going to be an active season, which is what we suspect. So again, in the coming weeks and months, all eyes are going to be on the tropical Atlantic Ocean to see what is going on down there. Coming back to home, this is how things look in terms of Central England temperature. So the CET is currently sitting at 12.6. That's an anomaly of 1.5 degrees above 61 tonight nightly average. It's provisional to the 29th, provisional up to yesterday. That's going to go up further over the next couple of days. Of course, very warm today. It can be very warm again tomorrow. So we'll probably see this getting to around 12.9, I would have thought, but there's going to be a downwards correction, probably quite a big downwards correction this month. So we're probably going to finish up somewhere around there, actually around 12.5, 12.6, something like that. But it's certainly going to be a warmer than average May, which is quite impressive because we did have a very, very potent cold snap early on in the month. I'm sure you remember those northerly winds that we dug in earlier on in the month. So, yes, I think we could say that it's been quite an impressive second half to May to come out above average after quite a cold early start. Well, this is how June is looking in terms of the 500 millibar high anomaly flow charts of Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. This gets us to around the 9th of June, of course. We've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS, which I'll look at in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in absolute high pressure, low pressure, are being moved around by the jet stream. Red sublets high pressure, blues low pressure. And you can see that with the ECM, we've got this trough of below average heights extending through the north of Europe. Above average heights are pulled out into the middle of the North Atlantic. There's a proper old dip in the 500 millibar flow there with the ECMWF, and that's quite a deep trough of low pressure. That would really pull in some quite cold northerly winds, actually. If that was winter, that would be quite an interesting scenario, to say the least. But it is going to pull in some quite cold northerly winds. However, I think that trough of low pressure could be a little bit over the top. I think could be a little bit too deep. We'll go for model output in a moment. You'll see that there aren't all that many models going for such a deep trough. But if it did come off like that, then we would certainly be pulling down some quite cold, actually, northerly winds. Certainly returning us to the risk of ground frost. And yes, I think we could have some showery bursts of rain with that as well, maybe a little snow over Scottish mountains. Now, the GFS is nowhere near as dramatic with that trough. It does still have the trough of low pressure, but it's further away from us to our northeast. And also has a ridge out in the Atlantic, so that's sort of protecting us a little bit from the worst of those northerly winds. We do still pull in cooler northerly winds, but it's nowhere near as northerly with the GFS as the ECM is showing. There's also a trough of low pressure down towards Spain, so that could well bring some quite wet weather in there, which is, of course, quite unusual because we're now moving into the summer, so you can expect Spain and Portugal to be pretty dry, but that could bring some heavy showers and thunderstorms down to parts of Spain as well. These for GFS, upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. We're at Aberdeen today at our wetter central. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Aberdeen. We're starting off much warmer than average at the moment, and temperatures are going to stay pretty warm over the next few days. There's going to be a continuation of more warm or very warm, in places locally hot weather probably over the next few days until around the middle of the week, and then we get this drop in the temperature. It is quite a significant significant and pronounced drop, although bear in mind Aberdeen is going to be very exposed to those northerly winds. So up in Aberdeen, they're going to feel the northerlies before anyone really, except going further north up towards Lerwick and places like that. But Aberdeen is going to be in the firing line for any sort of northerly winds. So it is a very significant drop in temperature. It's being forecast there from +5 at 850 HPA down very close to -5 at 850 HPA by the middle of week. -5 is probably enough at 850 HPA, is probably enough to produce wintry showers over the mountains of Scotland if there's any precipitation. Doesn't stay cold for all that long though, and we do see signs of the temperatures lifting up, the upper air temperatures lifting up as we move through the second week of June. So a recovery in temperature could well start to take place through the second week of June. Very similar, perhaps in some ways, to what's happened in this May just gone, which did of course have the cold shock, and then there was a recovery in temperature about a week afterwards, and then we went off and running into this current 2-week period of really warm and dry weather. Precipitation wise, not all that much really for Aberdeen, so lots of dry weather coming over the next few days. As it turns colder, of course, there's going to be a cold front involved with that, so it could bring in some rain and showers at times. And then once we get behind that cold front, we're into like a showery air mass. Aberdeen's going to be exposed to those showers, of course, during this period just here. But overall, it's not a particularly wet ensemble, you would say. There's going to be a fair amount of dry weather even as the weather pattern is changing. I think more eastern areas are going to be at risk of showers in the second half of the coming week due to the wind being sort of northerly to slightly northeasterly. Temperature anomalies from the 30th of May to the 7th of June, very close to average, maybe going a little bit cooler than we've seen for a little while. So this is indicative of the cool down that we've got coming up from around the middle part of the week. It's not a particularly big deviation today, but we may, by Monday, we'll look at these tomorrow and on Monday, by Monday we may see these going rather colder than average. Precipitation anomaly is still looking significantly drier than average across most parts of the country. That's not changing for the time being. So that's how the GFS looks for Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we're taking the high pressure out to our north and west, and we're starting to pull in some cooler air into the far north on a cold front. Be a very warm day down in the south potentially though. Wouldn't totally rule out the chance of 30 degrees somewhere like the middle of London on Tuesday afternoon, 86 Fahrenheit. That may be a little bit optimistic, but certainly 28 is possible down in the southeast on Tuesday. As this cold front sort of pushes in, ahead of it the heat will build. So the southeast probably gets quite a hot day on Tuesday. By the time we go through to Wednesday and Thursday, well, they were in a different air mass. Winds are going into the north, although it does take quite a long time to push those northerlies properly into the south. With high pressure still quite close to us and ridging in, there's not going to be all that much in the way of precipitation, I don't think. Towards the end of the week, then we get a more definitive push of these northerly winds. So Friday to Saturday, we get those cool north winds even down into the far south of the country. Will be quite cool potentially next weekend. Showers, particularly for more northern and eastern areas. I would have thought a reasonable amount of dry weather is still in the south and the southwest. And temperatures taking a tumble, and I wouldn't totally rule out the chance of overnight ground frost, particularly for more rural areas next weekend. So gardeners beware of that. Moving up towards day 10, then the high pressure begins to ridge back in from off the Atlantic. So by day 10, we're already sort of cutting off that northerly, tilting the wind back to the west-northwest. It won't be particularly warm, but it will be less chilly as we go through into the start of the second week of June. And then into more extended range with this GFS. Well, we have a go at ridging the high pressure in from the Atlantic. Doesn't really come off though. We generally stay on the eastern side of the high pressure, which means we stay on the cool side of the high pressure with this GFS run up to the middle of June. So we continue to pull in reasonably cool winds from the north or from the northeast. Not as cold as the northerly that we've got coming up at the end of this week, but probably still a little bit on the cool side anyway with that particular GFS run. But all the time the Atlantic is blocked off, so still, even up to the middle of June, I'm not really seeing much sign of significant rain, I have to say. The Atlantic remains blocked off, and yeah, so cooler and showers at times, but there's no sign there of a definitive very wet spell at this stage. GM looks like that. So again, high pressure pushing through the country on Tuesday keeps us very warm for Tuesday. Then to Wednesday and Thursday, the GFS does suggest a chance of some rain in the south, actually. I've been doing this for a couple of days. The GM is always a little bit different, though, to the other two. And I don't rate it as highly as the ECM. Probably not as highly as the GFS, although some stats suggest they're quite equally matched these days. But we do see this sort of thundery low trying to push up from the south around Thursday. So there is the possibility there of some quite heavy rain in the south with the GM. And then that sort of pulls away from us as we go into the second half of the week, of this week, and we pull wind in from the north and northeast then. So it takes longer to get the northerly down to the south, but it does have a possibility of some quite heavy and thundery rain threatening the south. As I say, the ECM and the GFS don't really show that, but we'll see anyway how that develops. As we move beyond that into next weekend and into the second week of June, then we start to see the ridge coming back in from off the Atlantic. We stay on the cool side of the ridge, so temperatures won't be particularly warm, but certainly we start to see the Azores high beginning to ridge back in by the time we get through to day 10. The ECM looks like that, very dry, probably quite hot on Tuesday, particularly down in the south. Then on Wednesday we start to pull in these north to northeast winds, temperatures begin to lower. Could be some showers involved with that. Moving through to the second half of next week, there comes the northerly. Now, we saw on the 500 millibar hydraulic flow chart from Penn State University that the ECM has much more of a northerly, and it has a much deeper trough of low pressure today over Scandinavia. So we really are putting down a very chilly northerly wind, and quite a strong northerly wind there at the end of next week. Look at that, that's Saturday, a week away, 6th of June, real northerly blast across the country. If that was winter, that would be getting the snow lovers quite excited. But that is a proper northerly. As we've just seen, the GFS, the GM, don't go for as much of a northerly as that. So there is a lot of uncertainty within model output. Actually, as we go through these models one by one, we can see that as early as around Wednesday and Thursday, there is quite a lot of uncertainty within the detail of this. So there could be a few surprises coming up. Surprises both in terms of how much of a northerly we get in or not, and surprises in terms of how much rain there could be or not. So it's going to be quite an interesting week, I think, this, to see how things pan out. As we move up towards day 10, which is going to be the 9th of June, then we start to bring low pressure in from off the Atlantic. So that's probably quite unsettled with showers or longer spells of rain. Actually, that will be much needed rain. And a little bit milder as well, a little bit warmer as we cut off the northerly, returning wind around to the west. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tameteo.com. So we've got plenty of dry weather coming up today. Going to be mainly dry, fine, with a lot of hot sunshine. And that carries on into the early part of next week as well. It's around Tuesday, but we bring this cold front into the north. That brings some quite heavy rain into Scotland, much patchier further southwards. Then to the middle of the week, it does actually kick off some quite heavy showers across England and Wales. So there is a chance of some downpours there through the middle part of the week. Maybe even a bit thundery in the south with the ECM. So perhaps the shower potential is a little bit greater than I've anticipated for like the middle and second half of next week. They get out of the way, and then we go into that northerly, which brings showers, particularly to more northern and eastern parts of the country. Some of those suggested to be quite heavy, and yes, your eyes aren't deceiving you. That is snow that's being indicated there across parts of Scotland. That would be mainly at elevation, so mainly over the Scottish mountains. But yes, there is snow being forecast there for parts of central and northern Scotland with those showers at the end of the week. Showers mostly around the coast, very little down in the south. And then as we move up towards day 10, then low pressure begins to come in off the Atlantic, and that starts to bring minor air in off the Atlantic, of course, but also with showers or longer spells of rain. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. This gets us to the 9th of June. We have 16 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our west and low pressure is to the east. And winds are doing something a little bit like that with the flow and with the jet stream. So showery in the east, mainly dry towards the west, and probably a little bit on the cool side. 13 have high pressure ridging in from off the Atlantic. That's beginning to settle things down, and as winds turn east west, southwest warm things up. Another 12 just here, with quite a deep trough centred over the top of the country. And then 10 with high pressure away to the northwest and low pressure to our east. That pulls the wind into like the north, so that could be rather cool and showery with that one. Overall, up to day 10, it looks like the ECM ensembles are rather cool and showery, really. And then going into 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Signs of a change then. This gets us to the 14th of June, so heading into the middle of the month. We have 20 members of the ECM ensembles that have high pressure centred to our north. A ridge of high pressure, let's change the colour. A ridge of high pressure to our north, and low pressure is to the south. That brings the wind in from the east. Easterlies in the middle of June are probably going to be quite warm. And the low pressure to the south, I would have thought, could be threatening some thunder into southern parts of the country. So that's going warm, but potentially a little bit thundery. 18 with high pressure, more or less centred over the country, just a little bit to our west, but more or less over the country. That's going to be the warmest, driest option for the middle of June. And then 13 with high pressure, quite a long way from us in the middle of the North Atlantic, and a trough of low pressure still over the country. That's going to be the coolest and most unsettled option. So between the 20 that we have here and the 18 here, we're probably seeing the ECM ensembles still sort of inching their way towards higher pressure coming back, some form or other by the middle part of June. Finally, the CFSV2, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period is going to take us from the 30th of May to the 5th of June. The coming week is dominated by high pressure. The position of the ridge is changing though. Initially it's starting off to our east. We've got retrogression coming along, so we are taking the high pressure in the next few days from east to west, which is always quite an unusual thing to do, because normally pressure, be it high pressure or low pressure, is going from west to east. That's the zonal flow. So this ridge is going against the zonal flow. Is more common for that to happen in the summer than the winter, of course, because the jet stream is so much weaker in the summer, due to the fact that we haven't got the polar vortex and we've not got the contrast between the tropics, temperature contrast between tropics and the poles. So it is more common to retrogress high pressure in the summer. But nevertheless, even in summer, it's a relatively unusual thing to do. Anyway, we're going to take high pressure out to the northwest. So we start this week very warm, and then we start to pull in those north to northeast winds as we get retrogression. We go through to week 2, which is the 6th through to the 12th of June, looking much more cooler and unsettled. Then high pressure is out to our northwest, low pressure is to our east and southeast. Retrogression has occurred, and so we're on the cold side of the jet stream as well there, and we're just looking pretty chilly and unsettled there. Go through to week 3, signs of a change, another change really. It's the 13th to the 19th of June. The high pressure is over Scandinavia then. With low pressure to our south and southeast. That will be turning winds back into the east. I will think that's turning warmer, but the low pressure to the south could be threatening thunder or sort of thundery rain into southern parts of the country. And then week 4 gives us another change. This is the 20th to the 26th of June, where we have high pressure then ridging up from the south through the UK and going up to Scandinavia. So the second half of June, we're going back to much warmer and drier conditions after that cooler and more, potentially anyway, more unsettled first half to the month. Right then, so that's it for today's videos, and we should wait and see what happens with these northerly winds, of course, and just how much precipitation we get in the second half of next week in the coming days. Don't forget to check out the third and final season model roundup for the summer of 2020. That video will be placed on the summer updates page at gasweathers.com this evening with a written summary, and also weekend forecast. Tomorrow, 10 AM, we're going to have the Gasweathers Summer 2020 forecast. So over the past 3 months, we've been doing weekly these summer updates. It's been building and building and building. Tomorrow we will be revealed. The summer forecast is released. We will also have Gaz Webby's Sunday Roundup tomorrow as the long range bandwagon rolls on from summer. Once summer forecast is released, we'll be moving on to autumn updates. So there'll be a little sneak peek for the autumn coming up tomorrow afternoon. And if all of that wasn't enough, we're going to be live streaming from 5 o'clock. And in that live stream, we're going to look at some CFS V2 data for the winter of 2020-21. But for today's videos, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.